Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Truly Easy SAP Mobility for ECC and S4 with Liquid UI. I'm Ben Bradley, Synactive's product evangelist, and I am joined today by Sean Bhaskaran from our business development team. Sean has been working with SAP customers on their digital transformations and mobility roadmaps for over 10 years now, and I'm excited to have him aboard for today's webinar. Today, we are going to focus on the capabilities of Liquid UI Direct Connect to easily take business processes to mobile devices. And there's a lot to cover in this topic, and we're only going to get to scratch the surface today, but stay tuned for more webinars on Direct Connect as we continue to explore its functionality and the opportunities for business and IT to leverage what is by far the fastest and most direct mobility solution for SAP. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Today's webinar will be short. As a result, we won't hold a live Q&A today. However, we encourage your questions, so please send them either through the GoToWebinar interface or feel free to email either Sean or myself directly. We will provide our email addresses at the end of the webinar if you don't already have them. Also, there will be just a short survey at the end of today's webinar. It helps us to understand how we're doing. What we're presenting is useful for you and gives you an opportunity to let us know if there's anything specifically you'd like us to cover in a future webinar. So with that, let's move forward. To start things off today, we're going to give a quick introduction to the Liquid UI platform. This is for anybody who is new to Liquid UI. We'll take a comprehensive 40,000-foot view, and then we will drill into Direct Connect as one aspect of our technology, and we will see what it means to deliver truly easy mobility to SAP. Then, as a way of illustrating just how easy it is, we will speak about some use cases and demo the Direct Connect product in the context of sales order transactions in SAP. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with a quick mobility case study that highlights what Graybar Electric was able to do with the Liquid UI technology. So now let's get into it. What is Liquid UI? Well, we'll start out by setting the scene here. This is the era of dynamic ERP. I think we're all increasingly realizing this. Gone are the days of monolithic ERP systems, and we've now moved into the era of what is really best of breed systems and a heterogeneous ERP landscape. And this is really a response to the increasingly dynamic environment that businesses are operating in these days. And Liquid UI is a platform which is in direct response to the need for businesses to move into this dynamic environment. So let's illustrate this point. This is what our customers are telling us that they're hearing. Oh, so you're doing a digital transformation. That's great. Well, here's where you're at now, and here's where you're going to need to be tomorrow. And what's happening is that people are getting to this point where they realize, hold on a second, this is a wholesale migration to a fundamentally new architecture. How do I make this move while avoiding disruption to my mission critical operations? Well, those who transform successfully have realized that they can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's too much stability and there's too much prior investment in the SAP GUI to abandon it. And so they plan their transition around this hybrid landscape. And you can see that here at the bottom of this diagram. We've gone from you're either on the old system or the new system to this hybrid landscape when it comes to how the user interface is manifested. And so what companies are realizing is that there's just too much prior investment that's been made in the SAP GUI, which of course has been the principal infrastructure for delivering a user interface for SAP for more than 20 years now. So there's a lot already baked in there. And it doesn't actually make sense to just throw that out. And so their digital transformation then is planned around this hybrid landscape. But the issue here is that if nothing is done to modernize the SAP GUI, what's going to happen is there's going to be a user adoption gap. Increasingly, as the workforce comes to expect something which is more a consumer-grade user experience, the SAP GUI is going to continually and increasingly fall into disfavor with end users. And so something needs to be done to modernize the SAP GUI. And this is exactly where Liquid UI comes in. So Liquid UI takes this native channel architecture, which is the architecture of the SAP GUI, and augments it to turn it into a powerful platform that extends your existing SAP infrastructure into the space of consumer-grade dynamic ERP application. So let's zoom in here on the Liquid UI platform and see what that looks like. So as I just mentioned, the Liquid UI platform is built on the native channel architecture of the SAP GUI. And at its core, it embodies three functional pillars: mobility, an adaptable UI, and robotic process automation. And these three functional pillars work synergistically to manifest a consumer-grade user experience to an array of different digital enterprise touchpoints. The Liquid UI platform also integrates a host of powerful enterprise features to drive workforce productivity at each of these touchpoints. And this ranges from things like web service integration to GPS coordinate support to single sign-on, push notifications, so on and so forth. And it's really quite an expansive list of features and functionality that's baked into the platform. And all of this flexibility, adaptability, and security is easily and centrally managed using an industry standard JavaScript object model. So this is all to say that your existing SAP infrastructure, the one that you've invested so much in over the years, shouldn't be considered legacy. The bones of SAP are still good. They're still strong. And in fact, you should think of your existing SAP ERP infrastructure as the core of your ERP digital transformation. So that is an introduction to the Liquid UI platform overall. And what we're going to do next is we're going to drill into a specific product within the Liquid UI platform, which is called Direct Connect. And to do that, I'm going to introduce Sean, who's going to take it from here and walk us through Direct Connect. So Sean, take it away.
Great. Yes, Ben. Basically talking about our product offering, Direct Connect, what it does and what many of our customers benefit from is having the ability to take what's already in existence in SAP and directly connect it to mobile touchpoints or mobile devices, right? So basically, this provides the customer with a mobile optimized SAP GUI extended into iOS and Android devices. And this could consist of phones or tablets, for example. And in addition to that, basically the customer gets to experience a single application that allows instant mobile access to their SAP transactions. So this gives ability for the user groups within organizations to perform their transactions through one single application. Okay, so now in this slide, we're going to discuss the Direct Connect architecture and the ease of SAP mobility to the SAP GUI. As you can see here, most customers that are on SAP have been using the SAP GUI for years now, and we're all familiar with how it works. So now what we're doing is we're basically taking the same concept and we're applying that to directly connect with mobile devices to the ERP, so that now with our Liquid UI Direct Connect product, users have that ability natively to connect to SAP. And that is really important for most of our customers, is that ability to natively connect to the ERP, because what they get out of that is the ease of use and also in general the ability to quickly connect directly. And now this is a comparison with the current UI5 framework that most companies are looking to have to adopt as they upgrade to the new ERP, to have to reprogram and basically work with HTML frameworks or web-based frameworks. So a lot of our customers benefit from what's in between and using our Direct Connect as an option to much more quickly and easily perform their transactions without the need for working on a web-based client. Okay, so now we're going to go over a Liquid UI demonstration of a Direct Connect on iOS and Android. We're going to focus on the following transaction codes, such as VA01, which is executing a sales order, XD03, and MM03. So Ben is going to basically show how we can mobilize a VA01 transaction in under 4 minutes, which is, you think you're up for that challenge, Ben?
Yeah, I think I'm up for it, Sean. Let's see what we can do here. Let me just switch over our screens. All right, so let's see if we can do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my stopwatch to go, so we know there's no funny business going on here. And I'm going to open up the Liquid UI app. Now, the first pass through, I'm going to move quickly, and then what we'll do is we'll come back through for a second pass and take a look at in a little bit more detail at some of the features within the app. But for now, what we'll do is we will just establish a new connection to our SAP server. We'll call this one Direct Connect Webinar.com, and instance number 27. Now we have this connection established. Here's my SAP login screen. I'm going to log in. This could all be potentially automated through our biometric logon feature or our auto logon feature. And so we can see here I'm at the SAP Easy Access screen. I'm going to pull up VA01. That's the T code for the create sales order transaction. And here we are. We are at the start screen for creating a sales order. My order type, standard order type. We can see here. Now I'm onto the next screen. This is a bit of a pinched view because I'm using this on my phone. The point here being to illustrate that anybody who has a phone in their pocket right now could, in theory, create and complete a sales order transaction in SAP as is. Now, this looks a lot better if it's on a tablet, but for now, again, just to illustrate this point of speed, we're going to show this on my phone. So sold to party, my customer number 1175. Hit enter there, and we can see that the ship to information is populated. Just scroll around the screen, and so we can also see our different header level tabs. So I'll come down here and I'm going to enter in my order information. And we will get, these are light bulbs. I think I'll order 10 light bulbs. And then we will hit enter, continue on, and I will hit save. And we can see down at the bottom of the screen, standard order 22635 has been saved. Let's check our timer. Boom. 3 minutes, 46 seconds from having no connection established to SAP all the way through to completing a sales order. So, Sean, I've met and exceeded your challenge. So now what I'd like to do is dig back into our app here and just take our time moving through the create sales order transaction one more time to highlight some of the features and functionality of the Direct Connect app for completing this transaction on a phone or on a tablet. So here we are in the initial screen of this create sales order process. We can see that all of the standard SAP toolbar push buttons are still available to us. As I mentioned before, F4 functionality is still available here. And then if we move on to the next screen, this is the second screen for create sales order process. We'll put in our customer information, and again, this will automatically populate ship to info, which is part of the standard SAP behavior. A high-level point I want to make about this process is that using the Liquid UI Direct Connect app, users have the ability to do all of the functionality and perform all the tasks that they would normally be able to perform when they're transacting with VA01. Things like a credit check, availability conditions, or performing returns, and all of those things, same manner that they're possible in the SAP GUI. It's just that the UI has been modified slightly to provide some mobile-specific usability features for devices that are, touch screens and have smaller screens. So I'll illustrate a couple of those points here. Okay, so let's see, I fill out a PO number. And then a material number, M-80Y. We'll get 10 of those. These are light bulbs. L-80Y. All right, so L.-80Y, those are our light bulbs. Great. So now let's say I want to perform a credit check. What I would do is I would pull up a parallel session, right? OXD03 is my display customer information. So we can see the customer numbers in there. Okay, so here we are in our display customer information. I can see standard customer contact information, and then as far as additional fields go, I'm able to check finance information and check credit availability and so on. So then I want to check material availability. So what I'll do here is I'll pull up yet another session, OMM03, display material, and I will pull up basic data about my light bulbs. And here I can see things like product data. I can see things that have to do with pricing conditions. I can look at forecasting data, minimum order quantities, and so forth. So this is really powerful to be able to do all of this, again, from a phone after having done nothing more than downloading an app from the App Store. There's really no faster way to mobilize your existing SAP than this. All right, so now I'm going to just switch my screens again, so bear with me. All right, great, here we are. So, so we were obviously successful in being able to mobilize VA01 in under 4 minutes. Totally crushed it. And we also took a look at what it looks like to use this direct connect technology to be able to mobilize a standard SAP transaction VA01 and to hold multiple parallel sessions to be able to pull data from other transactions such as display customer and display material in the process of creating the sales order. So that's pretty powerful stuff, considering that this took nothing more than downloading an app and connecting it to our SAP. No additional technology stack needed. All right, so now we're going to talk about a customer use case. And the customer, in this case, is Graybar. Graybar, many may know, is it's a Fortune 500 company. They are a longtime customer of ours. They've used our platform to do many things, both in their mobile landscape and also to enhance their use of the SAP GUI. Graybar is in the distribution space and the logistics space, and they deal principally with basically electrical construction materials. Graybar has been using the Liquid UI platform to develop a number of different solutions for their business environment. The one that we want to talk about today has to do with sales order processing in their brick and mortar locations. And before we get into showing the actual application, I want to just tell the story to set the scene. So basically, Graybar has several hundred brick and mortar locations throughout the United States. They also have an e-commerce presence, but this will focus on their brick and mortar locations. And so essentially you have a contractor who's going to come in to the store and will walk up to the counter and place an order with the customer service rep. This customer service rep will pull up the customer's record in SAP. They will enter in order information, and then they will need to go and move into the physical inventory space and actually physically build the customer's order. Now, here's where the problems began for Graybar, because at this point, the sales rep would need to leave the computer behind, and in doing so, leave their access behind to SAP. They're no longer connected to the SAP system. They're totally offline. They've got this order information printed out on a sheet of paper, and now they're walking through the inventory space building the order. Now, in theory, this could be fine, but in practice, what oftentimes happens is that there's discrepancy between the physical inventory stock and what was reported in the system. And at each point that there's a hiccup like this, it represents an opportunity for there to be an inefficiency in the system. So the representative needs to figure out if there's another material they can substitute into this order. That may not be something they know offhand. They also need to take a note to be able to update inventory quantities in the system once they're back at their computer. And by the time they've collected all these materials and they have all their notes on the paper, they have to walk back up to the counter. They then can't just give the order items to the customer. Now they have to rekey in all of these order details into the system. They have to update the inventory discrepancy, and they have to finish processing the sales order, all while the customer is just standing there. So obviously this is not a ideal customer experience, and obviously this is not an ideal experience for the customer service representative. So what Graybar decided to do is they said, okay, well, what if we could somehow build something which captures this idea of a shopping cart? And everybody is familiar with a shopping cart. Pretty much everybody has used Amazon or some other e-commerce platform where you build a shopping cart, you add items to your shopping cart, you edit items in your shopping cart, and then when all is said and done, all you do is check out. It's a pretty intuitive process for people to do. So they said, what if we create this experience for our customer service rep to be able to, after they've taken the order from the customer, simply bring SAP with them on a mobile device and in real time build the order information in SAP on their phone. And so they've built this shopping cart experience for the customer service reps, where now when they're collecting the inventory items and building the physical order, they can receive things like navigation assistance when they're going to find the specific parts in the warehouse. They can, when they encounter an inventory level which is below what the system has recorded, they can update that in real time. If they're out of stock for something, what they can do is they can search for a replacement part in real time. So these are all efficiency gains on the part of the customer service rep that allows them to move more quickly, more efficiently. You get better data, and then by the time they return back up to the counter to interface with the customer, the order is fully built in SAP. Again, going back to the shopping cart concept, the shopping cart is fully complete and they're ready to check out. And so we're going to take a look at all of this in just a second in a demo, but I just wanted to set the stage for the before and after and just the efficiency gains that are made possible as Graybar developed this application on the Liquid UI platform. So now what I want to do is I want to demo this full mobile connectivity that's been afforded by the Liquid UI platform in their brick and mortar stores. And so I'm going to walk us through the demo now. Just give me a second to get it set up. All right, so we see our login screen here. We'll get plugged in here. So now we're in, and again, this is the experience of the customer service rep, the sales rep who's standing at the counter, and he needs to fulfill this order that he just got from somebody who's walked into the store. From that launchpad, we're going to dive into this customer information screen. So let's do a search. Customer name starts with C. I'm going to do, so here's a list of customers. Select this CAS computer app customer who we're going to be selling to today. All right, we've got our customer identified now. And let's jump into the order creation process. So now we're in the shopping cart and we are going to start adding items. So imagine I'm back in the inventory section, and the first thing I'm going to do is to gather some bolts, we'll say. I'll go ahead and scan this UPC code. So this will pre-populate all of the product information. Now let's try that again. Didn't quite get it the first time. All right, grab the wrong code the first time. Back on track. Let's add some quantities. We're going to get 10 of these. And I'll add that to my cart. Very good. All right, so here's my next item. We'll scan this up. All right, get my product information. And let's see, I'll grab 8 of these. We can see that material's been added to my shopping cart. So let's take a look at what's in my shopping cart. All right, now we are viewing the shopping cart. I'm just going to review this. I can choose to add or remove items. I can alter quantities of my shopping cart. So again, this is all very intuitive shopping cart behavior. And since everything looks good, I'm going to check out now. Again, another sort of intuitive step in the process. It's going to be finalizing things. I'll put in a PO number, and I'm the CSR, so I'll put in my name. And it's really as easy as that. You can see that the sales order has been saved. And now we're good to go. And I'm able to just hand over the inventory to the customer, and they're on their way. So that's it for the demo. And I hope that illustrated the point there. I hope that illustrated the functionality, the shopping cart functionality that I was describing earlier. And I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear that that's a lot easier process that makes the life of the customer service rep and also the customer a lot better. Not to mention the improvements in data quality and just sort of overall efficiency within the brick and mortar locations to be able to complete this business transaction in such an efficient way. So with that, let's jump back into our presentation here, and we will wrap things up. So we were just talking about Graybar and what they've been able to do on the full-fledged Liquid UI platform. I wanted to just mention for anybody in the audience who is attending the Sapphire Now conference, which is taking place next week down in Florida. If you do happen to be there, Graybar will actually be at the conference, actually delivering a presentation on this very application, in addition to another application that they developed with the Liquid UI platform. So if this is interesting to you, I would encourage you to attend this ASUG session. If you are not going to be attending Sapphire, I would need to double check this, but I believe that they make these sessions available to the broader public after the conference has completed. So I would encourage you to watch their presentation for yourself, maybe after the fact. But anyways, this is the session, the ASUG session details. It's on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. This is the session ID number right there. And if you are at the conference, please stop by Liquid UI booth. We're at booth number 2452. We're pretty close to the dining hall. So hit us up on the way to get lunch or on the way after lunch. And we would love to chat with you and learn a little bit more about your interest in Liquid UI. So with that, I want to conclude the presentation. I hope this was useful for everyone. I hope you learned something. I hope we sparked some interest or curiosity in your mind about what is possible with our Direct Connect technology as the just by far the easiest marketplace offering for mobilizing any existing SAP standard or Z transaction, and also kind of what your appetite in terms of thinking about what may be possible when and if you're ready to take it to the next level, as Graybar has done with some of their business processes on the Liquid UI platform. So thank you again for your time and attention today. Again, if you have questions and you've sent them our way, thank you. If you haven't, please feel free to contact either Sean or myself at these email addresses. We will be sure to get back to you within one business day with an answer, and we any ideas you have or any questions you might have regarding ways to leverage your existing SAP infrastructure to adapt to this increasingly dynamic marketplace that we are in. Again, there will be a very short survey after this webinar. If you can take just a minute, answer a few questions, it would really help us out to be able to make these webinars more useful for you in the future. Thank you everyone for your time, and Sean and I are going to sign off now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.